Hi, this is the regular Labour report from the Democratic Alliance. Thank you for tuning in, and please share this wherever you can. I would appreciate it. I'm going to talk about one topic today, and that is the celebration yesterday of Youth Day. On June the 16th every year, this government sees it in its power to have a public holiday celebrating youth. It is in fact celebrating a victory of the youth many years ago. But what is it today? Today it's a tragedy. It's not a celebration. So yesterday we saw June the 16th, 2022, we saw celebration for youth, but there was nothing to celebrate at all. The history is one thing, but where do our youth go today? What do they do? What are they experiencing? And what is it all about? So today, Friday the 17th of June, 2022, the Democratic Alliance is reporting on the problems that the youth face in South Africa today and see no future at all unless we have a change in government. Where are we now? The Youth Day celebrations were an absolute farce, a tragedy, something that shouldn't have taken place at all. We are at 75% unemployment with our youth. 16 to 25, those people, unfortunately, not going to find a job, or at least 75% of them, and it gets worse for those in the townships, in the previously disadvantaged areas. They had some of the townships are at 90% unemployment for the youth. It's an impossible task. People don't even have money to get to interview, let alone having something to put on, a new pair of clothes. It just doesn't exist. And so where do they go? What do they do? We're on the cusp of an Arab Spring here in South Africa. People have nowhere to turn. The government is doing nothing. What in fact they're doing is making it worse. So in fact what we've done is every single quarter for the past 15 years, the employment of youth has got worse and worse. And I can go on and on. It doesn't help to keep crying about this. What we need to do is we need to see change. Where does it start? It starts with education. The educational facilities in this country are shot. They're completely destroyed. The only place where we're seeing some evidence of at least a renewal is here in the Western Province, and I thank them for that. The employment figures, in fact, are turning around in the Western Province, but the rest of the country is dismal. It's an unbelievable sham what's going on in this country. And so the previously disadvantaged are now, in fact, disadvantaged even more. What is this all about? Why are our schools churning out people at a 30% pass rate? In other words, you get 30%, you pass. I mean, that's impossible, absolutely impossible. And it's not going to change, not under the current government. The current governing party, the ANC, has destroyed education. With destroyed education, you're churning out people that are no good for the workforce. You can understand why the business community is saying, no, I can't employ these people. Over and above the fact that our employment figures are probably the worst in the world right now, so they won't be in fact employing anyway. And so it makes it so much more difficult. But with the education being destroyed, where do you turn? What do you do? How do people get that education? How can they, as youth, at least get something to find a job for the future? I strongly believe that the youth of South Africa are keen, they're willing, they want to learn, they want to get to work, but the situation is impossible. The technical colleges, they've been destroyed. We used to see people coming out as woodworkers, bricklayers, carpenters. Everything that you needed in the society was coming out, but now, no. People don't have the pride in any of those professions, let's call them. And no, the youth don't want to do it. And why? Because the message is going out from the rest of society that you're not going to make a living as an electrician, as a plumber. But of course you do. We saw what happened in Germany with their dual education system, that people with those skills are making money and building up the society. So the technical colleges being hollowed out is a negative. And again, I have to thank the Western Province government for doing their utmost to ensure that the technical colleges are built up again and putting people out there to go and work. We know that small businesses are the engine room for job creation, and in particular, the engine room for youth job creation. But no, what does our government do? In their wisdom, they tie small business to big business and say they have to pay the same salary. When you have to pay the same salary as a small business, you're not going to be able to compete. So you rather than import your goods, you rather than outsource to external sources to do your work. You don't want to employ it. You can't compare, for instance, Anglo-America to the spaza shop. It's just not fair. But our Lord calls it fair. And of course, our Lord destroys the opportunity of small business wanting to employ anyone else. We have seen that turnaround in the Western Province, and I thank them for that. The reality is, of course, that we do need to disassociate small business from big business. We do need to disengage small businesses from the bargaining councils. And we've seen the Honourable Cardo push for that in Parliament. But he gets booed, and the ANC does not want to allow it. They seem to somehow, and I'm not sure why, on the one hand attacking big business for everything they're worth, and at the other hand supporting them by giving them a power over small businesses. Doesn't make sense. This is Nelson Mandela's dreams deferred. Those dreams have come to naught. They're shot. It's sad. We've seen people in the Western Province and in fact in our city council in Cape Town, like James Voss, pushing daily for the employment of youth, pushing daily for job opportunities, for growth. It's fantastic what we're seeing. The Premier of the Western Province, Alan Winde, is also doing fantastic work and pushing for jobs. He has in fact aligned his entire provincial parliament of the Western Province behind job creation. And we have to salute him for that. And we're hoping that, of course, after the 24 elections, the Democratic Alliance can have people like Alan Winde, Premier Alan Winde, in every single province so that we can see a turnaround in all the provinces. We need that. We need to see the leader, John Steenhuisen, having 5 or 6 premiers after that next election and taking over government so that we can put as a priority job creation, and in particular, job creation for our youth. We need to get our youth working. The young people of South Africa need to be holding that spade, holding the tools, holding the computers, and making this economy work. And the only person we can align behind is John Steenhuisen for this. It's not going to work otherwise. We've tried. We've tried in South Africa for 25 years at least to see if they can do even one job. But they can't do any jobs. Every single department, every single minister is dysfunctional. It is sad, but that's the light of it. The new Minister of Education in the Western Province has aligned himself very carefully with the business community. And I thank him for that, because they're trying to align education with what business requires. It's not rocket science, it's so obvious. But why is only the Western Province doing it? Because it's Democratic Alliance that is governing this. So this is Michael Bagrain speaking to you on behalf of the Democratic Alliance, begging you to put our youth to work. We need to vote DA. We need to get the ANC out of government sooner rather than later. We're seeing them fall apart right now, but we need to do it as quickly as possible and as effectively as possible. So thank you very much for listening to me. It's Friday the 17th of June on behalf of the Democratic Alliance Labour Desk. Thank you.